We are going to do another art project now. So you'll need your paper and your paints and a cup of clean water, a mixing plate, and your paintbrush. You'll also need your color wheel from several weeks ago. We're going to start by writing on our color wheel. So if you have a black pen, Sharpie, something like that, we're actually going to write primary or pry, if it doesn't fit, on the three primary colors, blue, red, and yellow. So we don't get confused. Then we're going to write an S on the three secondary colors. So that we can see that right straight across from this primary is his complement, we call it. Right straight across from this primary is its complement, and straight across from this primary is its complement. Now remember, we talked about analogous colors. That means colors that are near each other on the color wheel. Colors that if you overlap, say if you overlap green and yellow, you're going to get this in between color like we did with our soap bubbles. But if you overlap these two, you're going to get something different, and that's what we're going to look at today. We're going to work on creating a color that you use in a painting to show the shadow on something. For example, here is this blue cloth. And when the blue cloth is folded in the little folds, like right here, you can see it's still blue, but it's a darker, grayer sort of blue, like right there. Look at that. It's kind of a grayish, darkish blue. This is darker than this where the light is really shining. If we take something like my water bottle, let me pour the water out of my water bottle. If we turn it on its side so you can see it, do you see how there's a dark place right here? There's light coming from two windows, which is not your normal. There we go. See how it's dark on the left and light on the right? But the dark and the light are both turquoise. They're not a different color. It's just a darker, grayer version of the actual true color. So we're going to work on creating these colors, and the way you do that is by mixing the complement with the color. So let's start with red and green and see what we get. On our paper, turn your paper this way, put your water in the red, put a couple drops of water in the red, a couple drops of water in the green, and let them sit there for a minute. Might as well just do the other colors too. So do the yellow and the orange and the blue and the purple, because each of these is a primary that goes with its complement. So let's stir up some red here and put some on the plate. Put red on your plate. Big puddle of red. Maybe get a little more water. Make a nice puddle of red. Okay. Now on the other side of the plate, let's make a nice puddle of green. Add a little bit more water just to make it go a little further. I always hate throwing away any paint. All right, so now we're going to take these two colors. I'm going to get my paper towel. Hold on, forgot the paper towel. Okay, I'm back with the most important tool in the world of art. Watercoloring, anyway. All right, so we've got some red. Let's make a little more red. We're going to make a swatch of red on this side of the paper. Now, we're going to take that red on our plate, put a little red right here, put a little of that red. Now we're going to mix just a teensy bit of green. If you pull from the side, you don't have to go wash your brush off. You can just get a little bit of green and mix it in there. Okay, so that's a slightly grayer sort of red. My mom always used to say, don't mix red and green, it makes mud. But it doesn't really make mud. I'm putting these little dabs on here to make that a little darker in places. Now, let me grab a little more red. Put it in here, and a little bit more green. So kind of make it a little greenier. A little more green. Ooh, look at that. Okay, let's put that swatch here. It's still kind of a reddish color, but it's red in the dark. Have you ever walked into a dark room looking for your blue cup and you can't tell it from your sister's pink cup because they look the same in the dark? If you've never experienced that, try it tonight. Go in the kitchen with most of the lights off, just a little bit of light, tiny bit, like from the refrigerator or something, and have a red cup and a blue cup, and you won't be able to tell which one's which. Let's add a little bit more green to this red. And then let's put a little swatch of that on the paper. What does that look like? That looks like gray. Wow, we just made gray. A better gray than black mixed with water. Okay, let's keep going. Now we're going to take a lot more green. Actually, let's just add a tiny, let's actually mix what we've got here into our green. Mix some of this gray into the green. And what do we get? Kind of a grayish green. So let's keep going. A little more color in there. Now let's even add some green. Let's scoop up some more green because we're kind of running out of greeniness. And mix that in with what we had, that gray green. Okay, this is even more greenish. And then let's just take some more green, or even just some pure green. Pick some green out of your paint pot and put it right on here. So look at that. We've gone from red to kind of a little bit darker red to a kind of a grayish red to gray to kind of a grayish green to a sort of a dark green to green. So these two, again, red and green, are straight across the color wheel from each other. So they are called complements. All right, wash off your plate and let's try it with another two pairs of complements. I think I said this before, but whenever you wash off your plate, make sure you dry it really, really well. If it's wet at all, your colors are just going to spread all over the plate. Get it nice and dry. All right, so let's look at two more complements. Let's start with the primary and look for its complement. So let's start with blue. Blue is a primary and its complement is orange. So let's put a puddle of, make sure these are dry, they're not. Put a puddle of blue on your plate. I even kind of scrape it off on the side of the plate to get all that paint off. And then what color were we going to do with blue? Orange. And if you think about it, what makes orange? Red and yellow. Those are the two primaries that aren't in blue. So it's opposite across the color wheel is a mix of the other two primaries that it is not. Blue is not red or yellow, so its complement is a mixture of red and yellow or orange. So we're going to make a puddle of orange here. And then we're slowly going to add orange to our blue. So let's start by making a swatch. Make sure you get your brush nice and clean so that you don't end up importing any weird colors from the brush. clean when there's no color on the paper towel when you wipe it. All right, let's make a swatch of blue. Now let's add just a little tiny bit of orange to it. So let's pick up just a little bit of orange and kind of add it over here to the side. And so you get something that still looks quite blue, but not quite as bright as your first blue. Now let's add a little bit more orange. Ooh, now we've got a real blue-gray kind of color. Looks like a storm cloud sky. Let's add a little more orange. Add it till you get gray, but don't push it over to the orange side yet. We want the straight gray in the middle. Let's give it a little bit more orange. Straight gray in the middle. That one looks a lot like that one. I guess it's as gray as it's going to get. Now let's pull even some more orange. Let's actually move over into the orange one. No, let's put some more orange in this. Just on the side, don't mix the whole puddle. Ooh, look, see how it's kind of a gray, but with an orangey tinge to it. Look at that. Now let's add some of this to the orange so we can get a real orangey kind of a grayed down. I call it grayed down orange. So that's definitely looking orange, but not bright orange. It's kind of a dull orange. And then let's get the pure orange out of our paint box and put a pure orange square right there. So there you go. You go from your primary, grayer, grayer, gray, oh, orangey gray, oh, a little darker gray, oh, a little darker orange, oh, pure orange. Pure orange. All right, go wash your plate. So the last two colors we're going to mix, we have yellow as our third primary. So let's get some yellow. And then get some, what's the complement of yellow? Straight across the color wheel. The two colors that are not in yellow are red and blue. Red and blue mixed together makes purple. So purple, whoa, that's dark. Wow. Okay, so there's our purple. Do you think we're going to have to add very much purple to the yellow at first? Purple is super dark and yellow is really light, so it's going to overpower the yellow very quickly. So we need to be careful. Let's start with yellow, a swatch of pure yellow. Now let's take the teeniest, tiniest little bit of purple and mix it off to the side here. Whoa, it takes over. We're going to have to add all that yellow in there. So now we've got, I might even want a little more yellow. So now we've got a slightly grayish sort of yellow. You may say to yourself, oh, that's an ugly color. But we would use it for the shadow on something like a lemon. Lemon is a pretty yellow like that, and the side of the lemon that's away from the light might have that kind of color to it. Okay, now take a teeny tiny bit more purple and add it. Okay, so this is still kind of a yellowish sort of gray. I put those little dabs there just so I can have a little bit darker shade of that. Okay, now a little bit more purple. And let's see if we can make just a gray. Kind of a warmish sort of a gray. Doesn't look yellow anymore, but it doesn't look purple yet. And then a little bit more purple added. So now we're getting a grayish purple. Oh yeah, we're definitely heading into the purple world here. Okay, let's add a little more purple, or a lot more purple maybe, a lot more. But this is still a kind of a darkish sort of purple. So this might be the shade, the shadowy side of a bright purple grape. And then let's put pure purple. You notice how I never mixed anything into the purple puddle because it probably wouldn't notice if I added it to it because it's so powerful. Okay, here's your pure purple. Ooh, that's pretty. Look at that. So we went from yellow to a little bit of a grayish yellow to even more grayish to a gray to kind of a grayish purple to a darkish grayish purple to pure purple. So these are going to be used in our project today to create the shadows on some real things. So I'm going to give you a second video of our project for this week.